Hi everybody, this is Em from DIYM. I just wanted to do a Mother's Day video doing Mother's Day cards. So today I want to focus on doing Mother's Day cards. So I have these dies that I got maybe a few years back. And I think they're shaker dies, but you can turn them into flat embellishments. They should look like this. I printed up some examples here from KSCrafts. This is nice for if you're making a small card, which is nice to send in the mail. So it has the shadow, an outline, and that sort of thing for both mom and dad. And then there's another method of what I've been doing since last year, since around New Year's. I've been playing with the alphabet punch boards. And I got this for Christmas from my husband, and I really like using this. They're pretty quick and easy to make cards with. So this is a mini punch board. I have the larger one as well, but I find that these are perfect for making cards, this specific size, because they make letters that are about 2.5 by 1.5 inches in size. So again, you can make very small. These ones are a little smaller, but you can basically make fairly small names with this kind of tool. So I just want to do mom, and then I want to do a dad one. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could do initials with a larger punch, but anyways, I just wanted to try to do a really quick video here. So let's try to do this as quickly as possible. I'm gonna put this aside for a second because I want to pick some papers. So I brought out a bunch of papers. I have these guys that I got. I don't even know when I got some of these. So I have a whole stack here of 6x6 paper pads. So I'll just go through that in a second. But yeah, this is 5.5 by 8.3 inches. They're kind of longer. It's got all plaids. I haven't really used this yet, but I like using plaids. I think that they're nice and gender neutral plaids. So there's that. Along the same lines as the plaids, I have these paper pads. I've got a few of these guys because I really use them a lot, but I like the fact that the colors are similar, so you can play with them really easily. Polka dots and also plaids. So there's that. Also have, this kind of goes with this, I feel, a little bit more. Similar colors. They're similar colors, they're kind of brighter colors. But yeah, these are another 6x6 pad. Polka dots. I also have this. I think these are really nice and really easy to play with. I haven't actually opened this one up yet, so that'll be kind of a fun one to play with, I think, though. I think I got this from the dollar store forever ago. So more plaids from Recollections, and then there's some solid colors in there as well. These are really fun ones. I kind of want to scan some of these though before I use them because I really like a lot of the patterns and colors in here. And then the Recollections also has this marble one that I think is also really pretty. Again, some solid colors that match in here nicely. And then there's this ink one right here. And then there's this basic Recollections paper pad. It's got some really nice different patterns. I got these guys forever ago. These ones are a little harder to play with for me, but I might use stuff like these. I like stuff like this. The note. There's also some fun flowers and things. And this one, and butterflies and stuff like that, which I think are really nice for mothers, for Mother's Day. There's also some cool bikes, which I think are really fun as well to play with. This is kind of nice too. So it's got birds, polka dots, stripes, all sorts of fun patterns in there. And then this is just very basic. I think this is upside down, but yeah. I think I put it in there upside down, but basic polka dots and check patterns. Okay, so there's that. And then I also have this. I got this a while ago. I've kind of gone through it a little bit. So this is like an old pad of mine too. It has some fun cut aparts and things, which might be fun to play with, but it's called Girl Squad. I got this in my old art store that I used to work at a long time ago, but it's a really fun one. And also, yeah, it has some bikes, which I think might be kind of fun for doing Father's Day. Some metallic-y colors and things too. So, because yeah, you can use this for guys or girls, which is really cool. Really fun patterns though. This is fun too, this pretzel. Oh, this is also cute. My mother-in-law plays guitar, so I think this might be kind of a fun one as well. But my father-in-law is also really into music and he plays the ukulele. I don't know, that might be kind of a fun one for him as well. I might do something really cool with that. We'll see. I have to decide. And then these ones are just metallics, and I may or may not use it, I don't know. So some of it's metallics or some shiny papers. Like some shiny blacks. And I've kind of already, as you can see, gone through this one a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. I'll show you guys later the top view of my die cutting, because I know some people like seeing die cutting. But yeah, I'll take this out and then I'll just start doing the word mom. I like to keep them in the box, as I've talked about on my channel. It just keeps everything together, like the book and all that sort of stuff, so it's nice. So I love the fact that this goes by pretty quickly normally. So I'm gonna do the M the way that with the larger alphabet punch board, I used 2 U's to make a W when I did my New Year sign. I'll link the video for that down below in case you guys want to check that one out if you have a larger alphabet punch board. So yeah, I basically stuck 2 U's together. But this, I'm going to actually attempt to do the wider sheet of paper to make an M. I gotta get 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. I'm gonna try to have all 3 papers matching a little bit. I'll see what I can do with different collections here. I'm just gonna get, I think the hardest part of this video is going to be matching patterns and stuff. I don't know. I like making quirky things though, so I might end up using this Girl Squad pad for some stuff here. So let's just see if I can find some cool stuff here. Both my in-laws are sending lovely cards to us all the time, and I always feel really bad when I don't make a card in time to send it in the mail. So I figured might as well just get a jump start on this and get ahead of the game here. This is actually really beautiful paper. I might use this in Mom. I'm gonna tear this one out, I think. It's got some nice foiling on it. So I'm gonna put that aside for now. I'm gonna bring that back and see what looks nice with that. These are really cute cut aparts. This is such an old collection. I'm sorry guys. I know that this isn't something that you can easily find maybe. I don't know. Maybe I can find it. I'm not sure. And if I do, I'll link that down below, but I'll see. I'll see what I can find. This I want to keep for my father-in-law, I think. Even though my mother-in-law also plays guitar, I think that this would be really fun for him. So I'm gonna put that aside for him. This is a beautiful pattern right here. Consider this one, because this one's kind of neat. I'll see. I'm just going to collect really pretty patterns. That's actually kind of nice together too. But I don't know. I'm not too sure. So I'm just going to put that aside for now. What's it say? Best day ever. Family. Celebrate. Surprise. Joy. Noted. Memories. Hello. Best friends. Aw, that's cute. This is also really cute. Maybe we can do something with these 2 here for doing the die cut. If I do the die cutting, one of these might be a nice background. Something like this might be a nice background, and then this. Yeah, I might do something cool with that. We'll see. I'll just put these guys aside for now. I need to pick out one more thing here. That's kind of pretty as well. It's got some nice foiling on it. There's some green here. It's also nice. Oh my god, there's so many choices here. So pretty. So many fun patterns here. Oh, this is also cool. And this is also foils. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Goodness, this is so hard. Oh, this is also nice though. I don't know what to do here, because that looks really pretty. I feel like this would be nice. Or, I don't know, I like this one, but I find that the black is really harsh. I kind of love this stripe. I think that this stripe is really pretty, so I might just go with that. It's so fun. Okay, this is such a hard thing. Honestly, it's so hard to figure out. Okay. All right, I don't even need these other paper pads. I love them though. I might use them for backgrounds though. I'll figure that out. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside a little bit for the time being. Yeah, so I think this one's gonna be an O. You can always make a heart shape with this. That might make things a little bit wider. So I might make 2.5 by 2.5 squares of everything. I think I'm gonna do that. That'll be nice. I'm gonna do my heart method that I did in that one other video that you probably saw, and if you didn't, I'll also link that video down below for you guys, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna do everything here. I'm just gonna do this real quick and speed this up. So everything is going to be 2.5 by 2.5 squares, okay? I might save this for something else down the line here. So trying to avoid the really bent edges as much as I can. We'll make a heart shape with this. You can make a regular O, and that would be 2.5 by 1.5, but I want to try to make a heart and see if that works. I love this because this is a houndstooth pattern. I love houndstooth patterns. I think that they're quite pretty. All right, cool. So try to make a card that says Mom. I think I'm just gonna do the heart first, in case you guys haven't seen that. I have to get a pencil though for that. I'm going to do everything on the other side. Okay, so for this is the top part of the pattern. I'm going to flip this around so that the top part is down this way. It's going down. The arrows are going down. So I'm just flipping it around just because it's a little easier to see pencil marks on this side. So this is the top of a heart right here, okay? I'm just gonna wipe that away. Okay, so I'm going to do, so it's about 1 1/4 there. So I'm gonna do 1 1/4 down here, the bottom of the heart right there. And then I like to do 1.5 inches down this way. Inch from the top is how I like to do it for the heart. Inch down. Okay, all right, let's try to do this then. So I'm gonna use this guy here. Oh, I'm also gonna get some scissors too. So basically, try to, if you can, I might just do it on this side because it might be a little easier to do this side. Try to line up these lines with this line here as much as you can. And I know it can be a little difficult sometimes, but okay. And then just get that knob in this area and try to slice it this way, okay? You can always also cut things off with just a regular trimmer. Now I am going to try to make this even with this line here, if I can. I might have to do some trimming here, so that's why I also have the scissors out. Okay, it's not going to be fully through here. Oops, no, I feel like it's not very even. I didn't really do a great job with making it super even. Sorry about that. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, and then I put this guy in this one here. This is kind of like a big, large corner rounder. And then I just punch it down. So you get that. And then I also just turn it a little bit and then just punch that down as well. Okay, so it's like that. I'm gonna have to trim off a little bit here. I might also have to get a corner rounder out, another smaller one. All right, so yeah, as you can see, it's not perfect. This smaller heart doesn't really normally turn out super perfectly, but you can try to round it by hand if you wanted to. It doesn't normally turn out super perfect, but that's okay. It looks nice in the end. And I'm gonna grab a corner rounder. I love how there's mints and golds and pinks and stuff on this table right now. It looks really pretty. So I'm just gonna use the R4mm one. It just needs a little tiny notch taken out of it. Nothing too major. A tiny rounder edge there. So that's going to be the heart in the middle. And I'm probably going to use, I've got a heart punch, so then I'm going to lay some sort of heart in the center there. So that'll represent the inner circle taken out of the O. And then for the M, I've never done an M this way before, so this should be interesting. So we're going to get to the M. So there's two ways of doing an M. So you can do it this way here, make two U's, and then you just attach it together with some tape like that. I'm going to try it this way, where it's a bigger square that I'm working with. Yeah, you need 2.5 inches by 2.5 inch square. So I'm going to do that. So it's right up against here. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna refer to this in just a second. Okay. And then it's almost like a D shape here. Do that. And then I just flip this around here. And there we go. Like that. So you open this guy up, put that in there like that. I'm gonna just turn this just so I can see what's actually happening a little bit here, if you guys don't mind. I don't normally like doing that, but yeah. So I'm gonna put this notch in here and try not to get the blade past here. I don't want to do that. And then just slice that down there, and then put the notch in here, and then put the blade in this one, and then slice that down there like that. Okay. That should come out like that. And then I'm gonna flip this around and do this exact same sort of thing, put it up against there, and then do the same thing that I just did, okay? So I'm just doing it with the white side, not the pattern side. Okay. So that's starting to look like an M. Woohoo! It looks like this, right? So I'm gonna flip this back and then flip this guy around like that. So this has to be for the top, this little dovetail thing, kind of like where the top of the heart is. I'm gonna make this sort of shape like that. I'm just gonna do the corners. That's basically it. So I'm just gonna do this corner like this, and then this corner like this, and there we go, an M. Oh, that's gonna look so cute. Super duper cute, right? Love, 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 love. Okay, so I'm gonna do another M in the same kind of way. Let's try this without the book. See if I can remember what to do. I think I can remember what to do. And there we go. Spell mom. Oh, so cute. I love it. So cute. I love that. So I've also shown you before that I have this heart-shaped punch that makes these little hearts. So I'm going to stick that in the center there. You can do metallic or something, which would be kind of cute as well. But anyways, what do you guys think? So it's not obviously done. I'm going to I'll have a pattern background, or maybe I'll do a sparkly background. I'll figure that out. But anyways, that part's done. So that's going to be nice. And then in the next scene, I'm going to do this die with some papers here. I think I'm just going to use this as a background, but yeah, I think I'm going to use this as the main color, and then I'll just get some sort of outline. That'll be really nice, I think. Maybe like a green or something that kind of goes with the leaves, and green and pink always looks really pretty together. So I'll figure that out. Yeah, I'll do that next. Okay, so this is my Big Shot Plus. I'm going to apologize for all the shadows and the lighting in here. This is the best spot for me to do some die cutting without hurting my back. So I tend to do it on our kitchen counter. It's a little bit easier for me, more level, so I'm not hunching over and breaking my back basically. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys because I know some people like to see the die cutting process, so hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better than not seeing it at all. So anyways, so this guy, I'm just gonna break this up. So this is the KSCrafts Mom and Dad die. I'm gonna get the mom one out for this. So I'm just gonna break that in half. So what I'm gonna do for the mom one, so I like this as a background, so I'm gonna cut that down later with a trimmer. And then I like this as the actual mom part itself. So I'm going to cut this out. Right? It's a directional pattern, so I'm going to try to make sure that it's up like a directional pattern. And then I have to do something for the outline, so I'm going to pick, I mean, I could pick a texture as well, just to make things a little more interesting, but I'm going to pick a solid color. So I might actually pick this green. It's a little bit brighter than I was anticipating. I wanted something a little darker. See, it shows up very bright on camera. It's actually a little bit later than this off camera, but it'll do, I think. It's not too bad. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this pink, I think. This looks orange on camera, but it's actually pink. I might do a nice frame around this later. It's almost an orangey pink, so I can understand why it's turning it a little orange, but everything's turning it a little bit brighter on camera for some reason. Okay, you can cut things a little bit down too to fit things. Might be better than wasting a bunch of paper going through this die cutting machine. So I'm just going to cut that down just to size it. If you want to as well, in case you're afraid of shifting things, you can always put a little bit of washi tape down. It's always good to do mint tape. I don't have mint tape, unfortunately, on hand, just because scrapbook.com, I love it, but it's kind of expensive for Canadian citizens. That's where I'm from. I'm from Canada, in case you didn't know, in case you're new to this channel. Okay, so now I've got these guys cut out like that, so this should be fairly easy to assemble as far as I know. So I'm going to remove that, place these the way I want. Again, you can tape them down if that makes it easier for you, but it's not that big of a deal for me if things shift. Actually, I find sometimes, I'm going to move this down here because I find because it bows in the center, sometimes it doesn't cut very well. So I'm just going to make it a little easier on myself and do things like that. Okay, I'm going to put this paper over top of it so that these lines don't indent on the paper, if that makes sense to everybody. I hope it does. If you die cut, you might know what I'm talking about if you've already done that. And then I'm just going to feed this through the sandwich. So if it's more textured thing, if it's just foam, go once through. But if it's more textured thing, you might want to do it a couple times, like go back and forth through the die cutting machine. So you might actually be able to use this as well as another card or something. So I'm going to put that aside, but I'm more interested in the outline here. I'm just going to grab a pokey tool just to get the outline out, because sometimes it's a little harder to do. It's a little easier to do with something that's just a regular shadow piece like that. But I'm just going to grab a pokey tool just to get the outline of that. Okay, so here's my pokey tool that I made on camera at one point. If you guys want to see how I made this, I'm going to link the link down below for that. There we go. And I'll bring it back to assemble it properly, but that's basically that. And I'm just gonna glue that down for you on camera. I think that's gonna look nice. Oh, look how cute that is. That's really cute, right? And the green stands out really nicely. Okay, so I'm gonna put that aside for now. And then when I come back, I will show you the gluing process and just assembling that stuff, okay? So I'm gonna have to cut down this sheet here, and then I wanna get this guy to frame it out a little bit. I mean, there's two patterns playing here already, so I just want to do more solid colors that's similar tones and color families. So, what is a good size for this? I'm actually going to turn it around because it looks less bent over here. I'm going to do 4.5 to give it some breathing room here. By what should I do here? 4.5 by 2. So we'll do 5 by 2.5 maybe for this. 2.5, 5, half an inch around. That should work, I think. Sometimes my blade isn't sharp enough, it seems, and there's always some sort of little thing I need to fix here. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I use things. I'm not sure. I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie. What I also want to do, because I love the corner rounder, is round the corners on these guys, okay? Just to make things a little prettier. Let's do R7. I think that's a nice round shape. And I've got all sorts of different other corner type things, but I feel like these ones are more consistent. As much as I like those other ones, sometimes these are more consistent to do. It's like a little blanket. There we go. Okay, so this will be like a nice tiny card or an embellishment because it is so small. I'm just gonna make an embellishment for this one instead of a full-on card. So then I can just pop this on a card later if I have a really cool idea for a card or something. This will be a nice little embellishment. Anyways, it's gonna look really cool, I think. I'll make a card out of this one because I think the letters are a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think that looks cute. I'm gonna glue this down. I like using my Barely Arts glue. I don't know if you guys have watched my channel before, but you know that I love that stuff. I never liked adhering things all that much until I discovered Barely Arts glue in the craft community. They were super enabling with that stuff. I find this refill so cute. It just looks like a little honey jar, bare honey jar, and I just think it's the cutest thing ever. Now I do the outline. And I love having a fine tip on the Barely Arts glue. It really helps. And if you want to pop things up a little bit more on foam, you can totally do that. Obviously, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. I just like doing flat embellishments because I find it a little easier to store if you're doing like card in advance. Okay, so this is going to be difficult to also center, but we'll see. You can do it off kilter if you want, or you can do it right straight on. And the nice thing about the Barely Arts glue is it's white glue, so you can shimmy it a little bit before you actually press it down, and it dries. Anyways, I think that's really cute. So put this embellishment aside. That's so cute, and I can just pop that on a card really, really, really easily. And then the next thing I'm going to do, well, first of all, I'm going to put this little heart on here. If you want, you can embellish it further with some gemmies or something cute. I think I'm just going to leave it, but that would be really, really cute, even in the center or something. Okay, so I'm gonna get a white glittery thing of cardstock. So this is a no shed glitter paper. This is the no shed glitter paper. I'm gonna see if I can find it online. I find it on Amazon normally, so I'm gonna link that down below for you guys. But I find this no shed glitter paper is really nice to work with. How big do you want this? Okay, so then how big of a thing is this? Let's do 3.5 inches that way and across 8. Yeah, I'll do 3.5 by 8. That's a very strange size. That's okay. 3.5 by 8, around there. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. That's really pretty. I'm probably going to put this on first and then I'll round the corners. You know me, I love the corner rounder. I'll do the heart first. It'll be a little easier to center things, I think. Oh no, I think it's a little off. Oh shoot. Yeah, I think it was a little bit off, but that's okay. Let's take it up again before it really gets on there and settles in. I think that's a bit better. I hope. I don't know. It's hard to see from the angle that I'm working with. It's hard to do things like this on camera, right? If you've ever done stuff on camera, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you tried to craft on camera, not easy to do, surprisingly. You'd think that it would be, but it's not. Here, I'm just gonna trim this really quickly. And then I'm going to try to get an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and try to put something around there. Any of these matching at all? This pink maybe is probably the closest match. Guess I'll do another pink frame. Or that's nice too. I'll do a lighter pink. It goes with that as well. So yeah, that's throughout there. Let's do 3.5. So let's do about 4. And then this here is about 8. You can do 8.5. I could probably even do this. Yeah, that would be good, I think. Okay. That looks nice. As I said originally, I'm going to round the corners though, okay? So I'm going to do a thicker corner, or 10 millimeters. Ow! I still love you guys. I didn't know I could get my hand caught in there. Be careful, I guess, guys. That looks so pretty! So I'm going to make a card, I think, with this leftover pink paper, just to keep it looking similar. It's just going to be very thick, I think. The front, it's going to be top heavy, but I could have done this. You know what? I'm going to get another sheet. Yeah, I think this is going to be a nice slimline card. In case you guys didn't see that, this is the Soda Pop collection. I really like these colors. They're very fun and very bright. Okay, I'm going to score this using this craft tool that I showed you guys in another video. I used this a little while ago. Okay, bend that, score that, okay, I don't really love this for cutting things. I find it's kind of annoying for that in particular. So I'm just gonna cut off the rest here with this trimmer. So that was just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, then I just cut off everything. I tried to make it as big as this. I'll put those guys on later. So now, as you can see, there's some rounded edges, so I'm just going to glue things on first, and then I'm going to round out. Actually, I could probably just do that in advance. That's fine. That works too. So this R10, I'm even going to cut up there where the fold is. Like that, just to round things out. So that's a nice slimline card for mom. And yeah, you can totally embellish it further if you'd like, but I think that this is really nice and simple to do. Line it up with this edge here. This is a nice light enough color that when you open it up, you can just easily sign the inside of that. If you want to, you can put a white mat on the inside of this and then write something like a nice little message. And then if you want to, you can also stamp something like a really lovely message on the inside. Basically something simple to do. So you can do two different types of embellishments. These ones are a lot smaller, as you can see, and these ones are much bigger. But this would be nice to pop on a card as well. Yeah, if you want to, I would suggest making an envelope. I did an envelope video on my channel at one point on how to make an envelope from scratch. So you might want to make something kind of similar to that. I'll link the link for that video down below. The only problem is it is slimline, so it might be a little bit harder to deal with that. Or if you can find a long envelope, that would probably work as well, really nicely. So anyways, there's two different ideas for the moms in your life, whether it's your actual mom or maybe a mother-in-law or guardian. There's all sorts of different types of moms out there, right? So I think that this is a lovely idea, and it's fun to use pattern papers and things like that, but also use different fonts and things too. There's also, obviously, you can get all different types of dies that have just specifically fonts that you could use and then just put those together as well. And as I said before, you could always take these things and you can make a card out of this as well. So lots of different things you can do here. But yeah, that's basically that. And I hope everybody has an awesome day, and take care to all the amazing moms out there. I hope you have an amazing Mother's Day. Have a good one, everybody. Bye! Happy crafting!